Divine isolation is not an abandonment, but a sacred act of separation. It is a process where life, seemingly on its own accord, begins to strip away the familiar. Relationships that once felt foundational may begin to crumble, and the spaces where you once found comfort may now feel foreign. In this state, you may question why the people and places you held dear suddenly seem distant, or why you find yourself retreating from them. The truth is, divine isolation is not about loss, it is about alignment. When you are being prepared for something greater, the noise of the world must fade so you can hear the whisper of the divine. This whisper does not compete with the clamor of daily life, it seeks the stillness where it can be heard most clearly. In this solitude, you are not left to your own devices, but are drawn closer to something transcendent. This is a time of reconfiguration, where distractions are removed and the focus turns inward. The feeling of loneliness that accompanies divine isolation is one of its most profound challenges. Humans are inherently social creatures, and the severing of familiar connections can feel like a wound. But in this perceived emptiness, something remarkable begins to happen. Your identity, once so entangled with others' expectations and perceptions, starts to untangle. You come face to face with your true self, stripped of external influences. During this time, you may find that the isolation comes with a heightened sense of awareness. You begin to see patterns and behaviors in yourself and others that you previously overlooked. Relationships that were built on convenience, dependence, or even illusion come into sharp focus. Divine isolation forces you to confront these truths not as a punishment, but as a revelation. In this sacred space, you also learn the value of silence. Modern life often fills every corner of our minds with noise, leaving little room for introspection or connection to the divine. But in isolation, silence becomes your companion. It teaches you to listen not just with your ears, but with your spirit. Answers to questions you never dared to ask start to emerge, and clarity replaces confusion. Furthermore, divine isolation is a crucible for growth. The solitude you experience is not merely an absence of others, but a presence of purpose. It is in this quiet that your gifts are refined. You may discover talents, passions, and strengths that were buried beneath the layers of daily distraction. These gifts are honed not for your own benefit alone, but to prepare you for the work you are called to do. This period also deepens your relationship with the divine. When there are no others to lean on, you are compelled to lean into something greater. Prayer, meditation, or simply sitting in stillness becomes a source of strength. The dependency shifts from external validation to internal fortitude, guided by a force that transcends understanding. Unshakable resolve is forged in the crucible of challenges, a strength that emerges not in the absence of trials, but because of them. It is the quiet, enduring flame that continues to burn even when the winds of adversity blow fiercest. This resolve is not simply a matter of willpower, it is a profound alignment with purpose that no external force can break. To possess unshakable resolve means to face hardship with an understanding that these moments are not obstacles but stepping stones. Adversity becomes a mirror, reflecting both your fears and your fortitude. But the world may seek to knock you down, yet within the depths of this struggle, you discover a reservoir of strength you did not know you had. Each trial serves as a test, not of your fragility, but of your ability to rise. This kind of resolve is often misunderstood. Many mistake it for stubbornness or pride, but it is neither. It is the clarity that comes when you know why you are standing. When you are rooted in purpose, the storms of life may bend you but cannot break you. You find that the things which once seemed overwhelming lose their power to intimidate because you are no longer defined by external circumstances. Adversity has a curious way of revealing what is truly important. In moments of difficulty, you are stripped of illusions and forced to confront the essence of who you are. It is here that unshakable resolve begins to take shape. You learn that resilience is not about ignoring pain or pretending it does not exist, but about moving forward despite it. Pain becomes a teacher, not an enemy, guiding you to deeper wisdom and greater strength. This resolve is not born of arrogance, but of humility. To stand firm in the face of hardship is to acknowledge your limits while leaning into a power beyond yourself. You recognize that the source of your strength is not solely within, but also connected to something greater. It is this connection that transforms resolve into something unshakable. Unshakable resolve is also deeply tied to faith, not necessarily faith in the religious sense, but faith in the process, faith in the journey, and faith in the unseen forces at work in your life. When all evidence suggests you should give up, this faith whispers that there is more ahead. It does not promise ease, but it assures purpose. In the practical sense, this resolve manifests in your ability to continue even when the odds are stacked against you. It is the refusal to let setbacks define you. The world may see failure as the end, but with unshakable resolve, you understand it is merely a pause, a moment to reassess before continuing forward. Every fall becomes an opportunity to rise stronger. Your resolve also acts as a beacon, not only for yourself but for others. People are drawn to those who remain steadfast in their convictions, even in the face of overwhelming challenges. Your strength becomes a source of inspiration, showing that it is possible to endure, to persevere, and to thrive despite the circumstances. To be a magnet for resistance is to carry within you a force so potent that it naturally attracts opposition. This opposition is not random, it is a direct response to the weight of your calling and the impact of your presence. When you walk in alignment with your purpose, you disrupt the equilibrium of the spaces you occupy. Your very existence challenges the status quo, making those around you uncomfortable not because of who you are, but because of what you represent. Resistance often begins subtly. People may question your choices, mock your aspirations, or undermine your confidence. It can escalate into outright hostility, where your motives are misinterpreted and your intentions are doubted. Yet this resistance is not a reflection of your inadequacy, it is evidence of your power. You disturb the environment not because you are a source of chaos, but because you embody change. The experience of being a magnet for resistance can feel isolating. You may find yourself standing alone, misunderstood by even those closest to you. The path you walk is not always one of camaraderie, and the resistance can weigh heavy on your spirit. Yet this opposition forces you to refine your convictions. When others challenge your beliefs, it sharpens your understanding of why you hold them. This resistance often comes from those who fear change, consciously or unconsciously. Your growth, your vision, and your courage to step into the unknown act as mirrors to others, reflecting their own stagnation or fears. They may resist not because they dislike you, but because your progress reveals areas in their lives where they have settled. In this way, resistance is not personal, though it may feel deeply personal. There is also a spiritual dimension to this resistance. When you are aligned with a higher purpose, forces that seek to maintain the status quo will rise against you. These forces are not always visible, but manifest in challenges, delays, and distractions. It is as if the universe itself tests your resolve, asking how deeply do you believe in what you are doing. The resistance serves to temper you, to ensure that you are not just capable, but also unwavering. Being a magnet for resistance requires you to develop an inner strength that does not waver in the face of external opposition. It demands that you learn to discern between constructive criticism and baseless opposition. While one can help you grow, the other seeks only to derail you. Understanding this distinction allows you to stand firm, unmoved by the noise around you. This resistance is often most intense just before significant breakthroughs. It is as though the pressure builds in an attempt to dissuade you from reaching the other side. The closer you are to fulfilling your purpose, the more the resistance seems to escalate. The weight of this opposition can feel unbearable, but it is also a signal that you are on the right path. In these moments, you must remember that being a magnet for resistance is not a sign of failure, but a testament to your impact. The resistance you face is proportional to the transformation you bring. It is not merely a challenge, but a confirmation that you are shifting the world around you, one step at a time. Supernatural insight is the profound ability to perceive beyond the ordinary, to see through the veil of what is apparent and into the deeper truths that lie beneath. It is not merely intuition, though intuition plays a role, nor is it simple wisdom acquired through experience. Instead, it is an inexplicable clarity that feels as though it has been gifted from a source beyond oneself. This insight is both a blessing and a responsibility, for to see what others cannot is to carry a burden they may never understand. Those who experience supernatural insight often describe moments of sudden awareness, as if an unseen hand has lifted the curtain of reality to reveal a hidden narrative. This awareness can manifest in various forms: an unexplainable knowing about a person's intentions, a vision of future events, or an undeniable sense of direction during moments of uncertainty. It feels as though the answers arrive fully formed, bypassing logic and reason, yet proving themselves to be undeniably true over time. Supernatural insight is often accompanied by an acute sensitivity to the energies and emotions around you. You may sense the unspoken words in a room, feel the weight of someone's pain without them speaking a word, or intuitively understand the choices that will lead to peace or destruction. This heightened awareness can be overwhelming, especially in a world that values tangible proof over intangible perception. It requires learning to trust what cannot be easily explained and embracing what feels divinely inspired. This type of insight frequently occurs during pivotal moments in life, times when the usual tools of decision-making fail to suffice. It emerges as a guiding light, illuminating the path forward when all other lights have gone out. It may arrive in a dream, a quiet moment of meditation, or an unexpected thought that feels distinctly not your own. These moments often carry a sense of urgency or significance, as if the insight is not meant to be ignored but acted upon. Supernatural insight also extends beyond the individual, often serving as a tool for others. When you possess this gift, you may find yourself speaking words that resonate deeply with people, offering guidance that feels divinely tailored to their situation. It is as though you become a vessel for wisdom that is not yours to keep but to share. People may seek you out, drawn by an inexplicable sense that you hold answers they need. However, this gift is not without its challenges. Supernatural insight can set you apart, making you feel misunderstood or even alienated. When you share a truth that others cannot yet see, it may be met with skepticism or dismissal. The world often resists what it does not understand, and this can lead to moments of doubt about the validity of what you perceive. Yet the insights persist, proving their accuracy time and again, reinforcing your trust in their origin. This insight also demands discernment. Not every moment of clarity is meant to be acted upon or shared. Learning when to speak and when to remain silent is an essential part of stewarding this gift. Misusing or misinterpreting supernatural insight can lead to confusion or unintended harm, emphasizing the need for humility and wisdom in its application. Supernatural insight is often accompanied by a sense of divine timing. The revelations it brings are not random, but seem to occur precisely when they are needed most. Whether it's a moment of inspiration that saves someone from making a grave mistake or a flash of understanding that solves a complex problem, this insight carries with it the unmistakable mark of something greater than chance. A life set apart is a life that refuses to conform, to settle, or to blend into the mundane rhythm of everyday existence. It is a life marked by a sense of purpose and direction that does not align with the typical patterns of the world around you. This life is not about seeking prominence or recognition, but about walking a path that is uniquely yours, one that can feel both exhilarating and isolating. It is a journey of constant self-discovery, of continual refinement, and of deepening connection to a higher calling. Living a life set apart often begins with an inner knowing and unmistakable sense that you are meant for something greater than the ordinary. It is as though a divine hand has gently but firmly placed you on a path that others cannot see. This path may not always be easy or comfortable, but it is undeniably yours to walk, and as you move forward you begin to feel the weight of your uniqueness. The world may not always understand you, but this is not a reflection of your inadequacy, it is simply the nature of being set apart. One of the first things you'll notice when living a life set apart is that you begin to lose interest in the things that once mattered. The shallow pursuits of fame, wealth and status lose their appeal. Instead, you feel a pull towards something more meaningful, a deeper sense of purpose that transcends material gain. You might feel disconnected from the conversations around you, those filled with trivialities or fleeting concerns. Instead, your thoughts are preoccupied with the things that truly matter: growth, truth, and the well-being of others. This sense of separation can bring about feelings of isolation. You may find yourself alone even in a crowd. Friends or family may not understand your journey, and their expectations may weigh heavily on you. You may feel as though you are constantly walking against the current, struggling to keep your bearings while others swim effortlessly downstream. This isolation, however, is not a sign of rejection, but of divine preparation. You are being shaped for something unique, something that requires solitude in order to grow. Living a life set apart also means that you will face resistance not just from others, but from within yourself. The temptation to revert to old ways of thinking, to return to the comfort of familiar routines, will arise. But this life demands more than complacency. It calls you to stretch beyond what you thought was possible. Your inner conflict is a sign that you are growing, that you are pushing past the limits you once placed on yourself. The very act of living differently is a rebellion against the familiar, and this rebellion brings with it both challenges and rewards. As you continue on this journey, you begin to notice that your purpose becomes clearer, more defined. The reasons behind your separateness become more apparent. It is not about being better than others, but about being different in a way that serves a greater good. Your life is no longer about fitting in, but about standing out in a way that inspires others to do the same. It is a call to authenticity, to step into your fullest potential regardless of how uncomfortable it may seem. The more you embrace this life, the more you realize that it is not something you can choose or abandon at will. It is woven into the very fabric of your being. The life set apart is not a temporary condition, but a permanent state of being. Once you step onto this path, there is no turning back, for the call to live differently becomes an intrinsic part of who you are. Even in moments of doubt or struggle, this path remains unshaken, guiding you toward a higher purpose. Transformative influence is the quiet power that radiates from within, a force that does not seek to control but to awaken. It is the ability to shift not just the environment around you, but the hearts and minds of those you encounter. This influence is not the result of grand gestures or loud proclamations. It is the subtle art of being, of living in such a way that others cannot help but be changed by your presence. The beauty of transformative influence lies in its simplicity. It does not force change, but instead invites it, creating ripples that extend far beyond your immediate reach. Those with transformative influence do not manipulate or coerce. Instead, they embody the qualities they wish to see in the world: love, integrity, compassion, and authenticity, and this embodiment speaks louder than words ever could. Their actions align with their values in such a way that those around them begin to recognize the truth of those values without needing to be told. This kind of influence has the power to dismantle false beliefs, challenge the status quo, and inspire a rethinking of what is possible. What makes transformative influence so powerful is that it is deeply rooted in authenticity. People are drawn to those who are unapologetically themselves, who are not afraid to be vulnerable and real. There is something magnetic about a person who has embraced their flaws, their quirks, and their strengths, knowing that these aspects make them whole. When you live authentically, you give others permission to do the same. The walls that divide people begin to crumble, and in their place, a sense of shared humanity emerges. This influence is not confined to those with formal authority or recognition. In fact, some of the most transformative figures are those whose names are not widely known, whose work happens quietly and behind the scenes. The teacher who patiently helps a struggling student, the friend who listens deeply without judgment, the parent who models resilience through hardship. These acts, though small in the grand scheme of things, have the power to alter the course of lives. Transformative influence does not require fame, wealth, or power. It is found in the everyday interactions that, over time, shape the world. The key to transformative influence is a deep understanding of human nature. It requires empathy, the ability to see things from another's perspective, and to meet them where they are. By truly understanding the struggles, fears, and desires of others, you can communicate with them in a way that resonates deeply. You speak to their hearts, not just their minds, and in doing so, you invite them to see the world and themselves differently. Yet, transformative influence is also a double-edged sword. It does not always bring immediate approval or recognition. Often the changes you inspire are not visible at first. They take root in the hearts of those you touch, growing slowly and quietly. It is possible that those who resist transformation will react defensively, clinging to old ways of thinking or behaving. But this is not a reflection of your influence, it is a reflection of their fear. Change, especially on a deep, personal level, is uncomfortable, and some may resist it out of insecurity or the need to protect their identity. In these moments, the true power of transformative influence lies in its patience. It does not force change, but allows it to unfold in its own time. Those who are touched by your influence may not immediately understand it or even acknowledge it, but the seeds you plant will eventually bear fruit. When people are ready to embrace a new way of thinking or being, they will remember the quiet power you held, the example you set, and the love you extended.